All right. Thank you so much, Favor. I feel a bit pressure, a bit of pressure because now I'm like, okay, it's over to me till the end of the of the event. But we're going to have a good time. We're going to have an honest time. And I believe that my co-panelists are also here and ready to, say things as they are exactly. And as we know, we're all here to talk about networking and how to, the flyer says unleash your networking superpowers, right? But in reality, what we're trying to do here today is to understand how do we build meaningful relationships? How do we make those connections beyond, networking? And to get started off of that, we have a little exercise that we're going to be doing, which sort of puts my panelists on hot seats. So it's a rapid fire game. Fear not. It's a rapid fire true or false game. So Tempsy, my launchpad for tech marketing talents, sometime last year we did a thread. We put out a tweet where, we said, what's that networking opinion that will get you like this? I don't know if anybody knows that meme. Do you know that meme where they say, oh, what's the XY? Yes, with the swords. Yeah, from Tangled. Yes. So a lot of people quoted it, and there were some interesting quotes from that thread that I have put down, and I designed them into a true or false question for my panelists. So they would answer true or false, nothing more, nothing less. And then as we go ahead in the conversation, we would then delve into their reasons for choosing either true or false, and also examining, the best practices that's that is basically best for that statement. So are we ready? Let's go into it. The way that the question will go, we'll start with Ernie, move to Elizabeth, and then Feranmi. Is that fine? Great. All right. People want access, not connection. True or false? Any? Rapid.
Okay, rapid. False.
False. Okay. False. Hi, Elizabeth. Are you ready?
Hi, yes, I am.
Okay. Hi. Building relationships with your peers is more important. True or false?
More important than what?
Than building up. So, there's the vertical and then there's the horizontal networking.
Well, true or false?
Rapid.
False.
False.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Feranmi, let's go. Networking has made relationships more transactional than substantial. True or false?
False.
False. Okay. I need to network to be successful. True or false? Any?
True.
True. Okay. Please remember that you're going to back this up as we go on. All right. So, Elizabeth, I have one for you. Introverts can be as successful as extroverts in networking.
Very true.
True. All right. Feranmi, over to you. It is hypocritical to advocate for networking and look down on nepotism.
It is what?
It is hypocritical to advocate for networking and look down on nepotism.
False.
False. Okay. All right. We're going to do one more round and then we go into it. Ernie, networking conversations have to be about career and business. True or false?
True.
Okay. True. Elizabeth, let me find a question. Okay. Going to events with business cards does not work anymore.
True.
Okay. And then Feranmi, let's see, how do we wrap this up? Oh yes, there's one I saw. It says networking is famsing, true or false?
Money farms in, yeah? So true.
Okay. All right. So it's good that we ended the game or this activity with that question. Before I go ahead, I'd like to ask how was that for us panelists? How did we feel about that exercise?
It was not bad actually, and I feel like you're still going to come back to ask why we said true or false, right? Am I right?
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. I thought as much. Yeah, but it was good actually.
So let's get into it. Feranmi, you say that networking is money farming, right? You said that's true. So let's delve into that. What is networking to you?
Networking to me is just you see someone that you find has some benefits to you, either career or maybe, for example, I network with people that have good perfumes. I want them to recommend more perfumes for me. There's a benefit there, and I want to build a relationship with them. It could be for career, it could be for my personal interest, like I said, food or perfumes, or it could be for financial interest. So that's what I view networking with. I meet someone with the purpose of building something further for a certain benefit from them.
Okay, certain benefit from them. So do you think that there's any sort of benefit from you towards them?
Yes, in a way. So if I network with someone, I definitely feel I should bring in some value to the table. So, for example, if I meet someone for a career reason and they need me to actually I want them to probably recommend me for a role. What I usually do is to find out what challenge they have that my role can actually solve for them. That's my personal approach to it. Work with them on that particular part before they go on to probably recommend me for another thing. So yes, I always try to bring something to the table most times.
Okay, all right. So you do understand how farmsing, the connotation of farmsing, the negative connotation of farmsing, right?
Mhm.
And you did say that networking is, money farmsing. Why do you say so?
Just the way people have a negative connotation of body on social media. So for me, maybe because of the way I describe farms I just see farms as on the positive side. Everybody farms, like you want to connect with someone for something most times. You want to get a new job or a new place. You have to meet someone and try to be in their good books. But what I do not support is the pretentious approach of it. Like I come genuinely, this is what I want. I mean, you want money from me, you're coming to ask me how's my family. I know you don't care about my family. Just go straight to it. So I would rather you farms with your chest. Do not pretend. Come with
Okay.
what you want. Of course, you can be subtle in your approach, but don't pretend. That's just my own approach.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. So you can farms, and farms in itself is not bad, it's not a negative thing. It's just how people go about it that has, colored it with so much negativity and all of that. So, all right, I get that.
So someone asked what is farms from
What is
my
all right?
understanding. Yeah.
So farming is like
So
a pop culture slang or something. Yes, Fermi, you wanted to speak more on that.
yeah, from my own understanding, usually like you want to be familiar with somebody, familiarization with somebody. That's how I might be wrong, but that's how I understood family to be. So you're trying to like build some sort of familiarity with someone. So yeah, farms in person. I might be wrong, but that's how I learned about it.
No, you're not wrong. Absolutely. I'm sure. In fact, while you were speaking, it occurred to me that, oh no, that's where the word came from. Familiarity farms in, like when you're trying to get to know somebody and you're just attaching yourself to them, yeah. So on the streets, in quotes, it's called farms in. Yes. Okay. So Annie, what's your baseline thought of networking? What does it mean to you? What do you think of it?
I think I think it's inevitable, and it kind of fits into my answer. I think you cannot exist as a human being if you don't have that sort of network. Um, and that's my opinion. I think it's a valid one. And I think networking in itself is the ability to amplify the values you have and un understand how other people see you first. Because I mean, networking is not. I don't think it's. I mean, I don't think it's famsing. It's an intentional act, right? You go out there to say, hey, this is networking starts from you having a worth. You can't see someone without value trying to network. That won't be network. And I don't even think that'll be famsing. I think that will be a borderline obsession. That's like a fan celebrity conversation. So if most fan base don't have that, there's nothing. For example, I love Lionel Messi, but I don't think there's nothing I can offer him. So we can't be friends. We can just be fan. But I think networking is an intentional display of this is what I bring. And I also want to know what you bring. And how can we create a fusion that can see that sinking of value? So it has to be intentional and it has to be value driven. And I think that's what network is. So it's an intentional act to reach out to people with similar values, right? I can network with, I wouldn't say, again, yes, I can network with people outside of my industry, but there must be a connection. I think there was a time while I was working in the bank, I had a friend who was the road manager for Burna Boy. And I tried to network. That was in 2017. I was hoping to be Burna Boy's financial manager, but I think his mom was already running point in that. But so that's I mean, we're in different spheres, different industries, but there was a connector, right? I was a finance person. So I mean, I've been managing accounts for people. So I felt, so that's the reason I wanted to network. So there must be an intentionality and a value exchange. So I think that's in a brief 2, 3 minutes. I think that's what networking is and I think should be about.
Okay, that's well said. I took down a couple of things while you were speaking. One is that you can't have no value and want to network because, and I think that's very important because a lot of us these days, when you say, "Oh, I want to network," we're only thinking one way, right?
Exactly.
Thinking dual ways. So I think it's very important if you don't take anything away from here today, please know that you have to bring something to the table. It's networking because it goes both ways. And no matter how little you think, you might be bringing to the table compared to, where that person is in life, you just have to, there is some value there as long as there's some value that is also valuable to that person. Because I think you can also have some value that does not match what they're looking for, which is where the connection talk comes in. And I wrote, there must be a connection, a bridge. Right. Okay. All right, Elizabeth.
Sorry, all right. There's a question to Ernie in the chat room.
Okay.
I think Temitope Musumola says to
Yes.
Ernie, how then can an inexperienced person network?
Work.
I think an inexperienced person, what happens? I think network is we see network is but network is it's a phase. It's not so you reaching out to someone, right? If I'm reaching out to maybe the chief product officer of Apple, for example, that won't be me networking. To him, I'm inexperienced. I mean, that guy has almost 3 decades of experience, and I'm just clocking 10. So for an inexperienced person, a reach out is okay. Um, Seeking out to have a mentee-mentor relationship is okay. And all this thing predates the building of a network, right? So you as an inexperienced person, if you're reaching out to an experienced person like myself or Feranmi, for example, there is a need to create an understanding of what you are. But value, even in that inexperienced phase, can still be explained. Value is, hey, what am I trying to do? So value is not what I do now. Value is where am I? Do I have an understanding of where I'm going? Right. I've reached out to people who are top of me in years, and we are not networking because of where I am now, but it is an idea of where I will be. in the next. So I'm with people. I go out for, I think over Christmas I was with the CEO of Pay, and the conversation was, boss, I'm thinking of building something in line. I'm not where he is, right? But the fact that I have an idea of where I want to be and it's close to his own understanding already builds a network of some sort. But it's a phase, right? And yes, an inexperienced person can network by first identifying where they are, where they want to be, right? And that then creates that network. I don't know if that answers you, Tim Topper.
So I also wanted to say that we would have a Q&A sometime as we move along. So let's just get into it. Elizabeth, you were about to speak on what you think of networking.
All right. Please, can you hear me? Can you confirm that you can hear me properly without any background noise? Okay, great. Okay, so for me, networking is actually a big deal for me. I know that networking is actually a very big deal. Networking is actually a process. It is not something that you just do once. For instance, let's say Bimi goes for a tech event, then she meets maybe Feranmi, and she sees him. She's like, "Hi, Feranmi, what's up? Good afternoon. I am so and so. I do this. Please, can we connect? I would love to work on so and so with you." Now, the mistakes that most of us actually make is that after that whole conversation, we let it go cold. You don't follow up. You don't text or say, "Oh, I met you at so and so." And trust me, most times when you text such persons, they might not even reply you that very first time or that second time. You should just consistently do that. And for me in my career, I would say networking has actually opened a lot of doors for me. And for my own kind of networking, right, I started it, or I learned how to network through volunteering. That's why I am a very big advocate for volunteering, because it taught me a lot of things that I would have not learned on my own career-wise. So for me, networking is actually a very big deal if you know that you want to grow your career. And I've noticed that in this tech space, if you don't, in short, I feel like it's even everywhere. I mean, even in the corporate, traditionally in churches, everywhere. If you do not know certain kind of people, if you do not know how to approach people or how to have certain kind of people on your side, trust me, the things that you would get in 2 seconds, you would get it. It can take you 2 years to get it. For instance, I went for a case wedding that's Rise Vest founder. Then I feel like that wedding was actually a wedding of tech founders, because there were a lot of them there. And I went with a friend. Trust me, I spoke to almost everybody, introducing myself. Then, yes, Femi is smiling. I also saw him that day. So I mean, I saw him that day and we spoke. Femi, you owe me so many things actually, but it's fine. I'll text you on WhatsApp after the session. So I met so many of them, and trust me, the value that I am getting today is not, see, if I had not met them there, if I had not walked up to them to say this, I would have not gotten so much value, even to the point of my career. Because in my company, we just InterSwitch launched this whole developer community thing. That was when I resumed in September 2022, and it was a whole lot, right? So then after that, now all these big companies, they are after revenue. How much are you bringing? So and that's something that I've never done in my life as a community manager. My focus was always to build a community, engage people, see that people grow. But now I work in a unicorn that I've said, you know what, give us value. What is the Naira transactions? And trust me, those kind of conversations, I cannot have it with community managers like myself or people that look up to me. So I had to have these conversations with founders who have built, who have made money from things like them. What's up? How can I do this? And I did it. It was actually very great. And these are part of the things that are even helping me currently. Networking does not necessarily mean that you need to derive money from those people of course, there's the business part, but trust me, like there's so many things that you can benefit from. And there's also one thing that I've learned about networking, mostly if you're networking with top people, guys, don't you ever ask for money on your first instance of a conversation. What do I mean? You can meet somebody and say, "Hello, Otedola, I have this startup idea. This. Then the next thing you are saying is you need funding. I mean, it could work for you, but I do not think it is actually ideal, because if it is me, I'll run away from you, because I'm like, I don't understand. You're not a serious person. You're just seeing me here asking me for money. Why not say, hello, this. I have this. I do this, and I plan on doing this at so and so time. Do you understand? Then he can tell you, oh, this is good. Then you can now keep updating the person. And when you are updating them, please don't give them the full gist of your idea. They might
Right.
exactly they might take it from you. So for me, just like I said, networking is actually a very big deal. Thank you.
Okay. So riding off of that, a question I asked, was it Emily? No, I think I asked you. I'm not sure. I'm so sorry. But here's the question. I need to network to be successful. And the person said true. Right? So, Feranmi, you were saying?
I think it was
It
it
was
Ernie?
any you asked. It was any you asked.
Right,
Yeah.
Yes, it was Ernie. And he said true. So saying that Elizabeth, holds such strong opinions about networking, would you also agree with Ernie that you need to network to be successful?
To be very
True.
honest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so should I just say true or false, or can I speak further about it?
No, just true or false. Yeah. You want
Yes,
to speak
yes.
further? All right, so let's have it. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So I would say true, right? And sometimes it might not be true, right? But
Mhm.
let's say like 90% is true.
Mhm.
Because if you check all these big guys, the Dangotes, the everybody, and all that, I know that most of them, they are riding on their father's wealth, but their fathers actually built or made a strong network of people, right? That is the part where I would say it is actually very true, because it makes sense that you reach out to people and tell them stuff. Then why I would also say false is because there are people that I've seen that are just doing their things and minding their businesses, right? And they've actually done a whole lot. But guess what? If they had networked, if they had reached out to people, they would have actually maybe even gone and gotten better at that thing. So it can be true and it can be false, but it is 90% true. Yes,
Right.
thank you.
All right. So thank you so much, Elizabeth. Why did you say true?
I think it's the whole essence of network. And I think network goes beyond. I think, okay, yeah, this is a career conversation. So let's restrict network to a professional setting. But
Okay.
I mean, I have my first degree, I have my bachelor's degree in economics, and it's impossible to actually exist in isolation. The desire or the necessity to exchange information is a prerogative for any growth, right? There is no known billionaire or CEO founder. There's nobody I know who has made it without having some form of network, because you need ideas. There's nobody. I can't even place. It's not Jeff. It's not Elon. Everybody at one point in time needed to network and create a community. See, trust me, the CEOs, we do competitor reviews. I know back at Access Bank, we used to laugh at ourselves. We do competitor review and like, hey, GT is chasing Access. On Friday night, you see Herbert and Shegun chilling, and you'll be laughing at yourself. You're kidding yourself down. So I think it's absolutely impossible to scale. Now you can start your business. I mean, you don't even need to start running a business is fine, but it's impossible. I think it's absolutely impossible to scale as an entrepreneur, as a person. I mean, I've done 10 years, and most of the things I know, most of the jobs, the roles I've gotten are through, I'm telling you, it is only in Canada here that I've actually been speaking English. All my roles in Nigeria, apart from Access Bank, were strictly, hey, I know someone who does something. Speak to this guy. From InterSway to Flutterwave to Globus Bank, they were strictly networks that are built and intentionally built. So, I mean, if I didn't have them, I would likely maybe still be in Access Bank, because I'll be in isolation, right? So I just think it's impossible to scale, not as a person. And even aside the professional work, right? Private life, I don't think it's possible to grow without having other people's input in your life here.
Right. And I absolutely agree with that. And my own perspective is coming from, you don't know it all, you don't have it all. There will always be something that you need to do, right? Or you need to get your hands on that is just not in your circle or that you already have. And then you need people. In life, we really need people. Or sometimes it's the people you need are not the people that have what you're looking for. It could be that the people that know the people that have what you're looking for, right? So the degree of separation could look so many ways. Feranmi, I'm going to be coming to you now. We've established what networking is. We've spoken about how important networking is. Now, the next touch is, how do we get it right? Now, I'm going to break that down. How do we get it right? Being, how do I network? Where do I start from? Right? What are I want us to, so to you, I want us to explore the official and unofficial ways of networking. What's the official way of networking for someone who wants to get started, especially for vertical networking? And then what's the unofficial way for that?
Okay, so I'll start with probably like online, which is one of the easiest ways to network these days. It's, for example, for me, one way that I was able to network vertically to people that were way above me is I used to offer a lot of value, like not a lot of value. Don't let me overhype. I talk a lot about things around my my growth, talking to people like, okay, I talk about growth, I talk about marketing online. When they also talk about marketing, I'm like, I will intentionally type someone's name. For example, I used to type Asemota's name and search for growth or anything he talked about. And I'll participate in the conversations, not to participate and show off that I know anything about growth. I'll basically sometimes ask questions like, say, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Drop my perspective around that. What started to happen after time was he started to see value in my conversation. A number of other people started to see value in my conversations, and they will respond, sometimes even retweet what I would say about growth. So that was my own way of it. I got myself involved in their conversations, responded to them. They also got. It became a case of my interactions started to attract them and started to like get involved also. And that way, because of the two-way interaction, it was easy for them to say, I know a guy that can do this. They are not work with me, they are not doing anything with me. But because of the interactions there, it was easy for them to recommend me for certain projects and certain roles. So the first rule I will say is put yourself out there, define what it is that you stand for. Like everyone has to have an opinion. You need to have an opinion. For example, if you don't believe in paid marketing, you be like as a marketer, you believe in which I don't believe that anything is free, but let's assume for the context of this conversation, you believe in free marketing. Please, by the way, for context, there's nothing like free marketing. But let's say you believe in free
It's a whole
marketing.
different conversation that we
Yeah,
can
but
get
let's say you believe in free marketing, you stand for free marketing, and there's someone high up that believes in free marketing also. You drop your opinions there, get involved in their own conversations. It is easy for them to actually relate with you, and you guys now build a bond together. So that's for the online approach. Now, for the offline approach, there's a caveat here also. I do not suggest that every single event you're there, one event you're there, the next event you're there. You need to intentionally select the events that you want to go to. You need to intentionally select the hangouts that you want to go to. I'll give you an example. There's an event that happens at the end of every year for Tech Circle. It's called Tech Circle, where a lot of tech guys come together and everything like that. It's not necessarily the best place for networking. I won't go there to network because most people that are there, founders and co, are coming there just come and have fun. They've had a very hard year and they're just there to just relax. Now, there are other events, it might be something that is intentionally focused on solving a problem within the sector that you operate. It's easier for you to go there meet people, ask questions. One of the best ways I learn how to network is by asking questions. That's my approach to it. I ask questions. So I see someone that I want to talk to. They're wearing nice shoes, and I'm like, oh, your shoes look really good. For example, where did you get it? So that I don't ask, I don't tell me the price, and I faint. I just like talk about the shoes and start questions from there. It can be the color of what they're wearing. I'm like, oh, this looks like green. Sorry, can you tell me the actual color? And I start a conversation from there. I start with questions. That's how I get to early network. So I'll wrap up by saying again, first of all, online, be involved in conversations that thought leaders in your space participate there and ask questions.
Okay.
And also do not be rude or try to show off pride, anything like that. So that's for online. And for offline, always start with questions, professional questions, and good compliments. Don't go to someone and say you have nice legs. Nothing concerns you with their legs when they're there. They can be wearing nice shoes, anything like that. So be very careful about, because people, I've heard very weird,
Yeah.
I've heard very weird compliments, and I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I just take it like that. But compliments, questions are the way I begin my conversations. And of course, keep it brief, offer value in the short conversation, but don't show off. That's my approach to it.
All right. Thank you so much, Feranmi. I particularly was interested in the online bit, also because there's a specific approach. Now, when we're talking earlier about farming, what came to my mind was strategic. I think it's very important that you're strategic with how you approach speaking to people, networking in general, or even, getting that access, right? And as Feranmi has said, engaging in online conversations, have an opinion about it. And guess what? The opinion might be so different from the original tweeter's tweet, right? But your opinion, originality, those are the things that will get you the attention you need. You want people to say, okay, I've taken note of this person or this handle that, they always drop sensible contributions or whatnot. And from there, to me, I think that's very, very strategic. That's placing yourself in their purview, in their environment without, forcing things. And remember, as we said, the key is building relationships, right? So, and as we know, organic is, the way to go. People, they just realize that, oh, you've grown on them, right? And it goes up from there. Elizabeth, you were speaking of attending a CEO's wedding, and you also said, at that wedding you did some networking. Are there any other unorthodox or unofficial ways that people can network, or events like that outside of industry events that people can go to network? So Ernie, do you know of any such unorthodox or unofficial events?
Yeah. So I think I'm more for the physical networking than online, because online it takes away perspective. There's a lot of non-verbal things that are gotten. I'll use two examples, right? And I think again, let me just give an icebreaker. You people in Nigeria, internet needs to step up. I mean, you guys are still dealing Glow and MTN and all that
Ernie,
shit.
please.
Can't relate it. I wish you guys the very best, by the way, with your internet. So, and I think secondly, I think it's good we share some of us on the panelists on this panel. Its experiences will help create context. Feranmi and I were colleagues at Flutterwave, so he's my Oga and my Roji. And I think someone here to also worked at InterSwitch. I used to be, I'm an ex-InterSwitch. So two stories, quick one, right? Victor sent
Oh,
me two.
nice.
Yes, I left InterSwitch.
The best is back. Yay.
So,
Yeah, I'm back. I'm sorry.
So do you want to take on, or I go ahead?
I think you can carry on. And
All
then
right. So again, why I said the physical one works for me is I've met Victor in a work conference while I was at Access in 2016. We spoke, I was just, I was in ET, I reached out to him, man gave so much insight. But I did not actually have a one-to-one with him until 2021, actually, when I had to remind him. But over time, I had shown that, yes, I know what I was now doing. I was not the same person 5 years ago. And I'll get to, I'll use an example before I land. The next is the Toriola Carl. At a work event in Accra in 2022, I met Carl Toriola, the CEO of MTN Nigeria, gave a wonderful presentation. And guess where we met? In the restroom. I just saw him going to ease himself. I just traced him there, and and my question put him off, right? I asked a very, very deep question regarding how PSBs will try to unsettle banks. And that is the problem you're seeing today. And why I use these two stories, because again, when you have this physical, and why I think the physical, again, it amplifies you. It can make or mar you, right? So for introverts who are not good with explaining themselves, it's tough, right? So maybe online would be good. So maybe then context becomes everything. But I think if you're really good at selling yourself or explaining what you know, that physical touch is critical, because you get to explain yourself and say, hey, this is what I do. And then the person also sees you for who you are, right? And then every other thing spins off. So I think it's essential that as individuals, again, it's the intentionality and also having a path. So you don't just go for events and say, hey, I'm going to, no, there must be a plan. There must be something. Again, everybody, no matter how rich or poor they are, just wants value. Even if and I just need something from you, no matter how small you are. So it is the intentionality, and that's taking it, being conscious that, yes, I want to do this. And that's why, again, I'm a forerunner for that physical. If you can go for physical networking events, trust me, it is better, where you get to talk, right? People have lasting memories of what they see, much more what they hear, right? The brain has a way of capturing. So there's this light-skinned guy who said he could do heaven and earth. That is what the guy says. It's not about race or anything, but that's the truth. It's the spirit of first and second. If I see you today, the first thing that comes to my head is, oh, she was one with red hair. That's the first thing before every other thing you say. So your
Right.
look, so how you portray yourself, how you carry yourself is everything. It's everything. And all of that is beautiful. If you go there with your hair looking unkempt, sorry, I'm taking time. Let me give you a very, very funny story. In 2016, learn from these stories. In 2016, as an ET in Access Bank, executive training is what they call ET. My AGM then, who was current chief data officer of Keystone, he told me to go and pick two young guys downstairs. I was at the Damole head office. Who were these young guys? One of them had his nails painted. One was clean. I think you guys get the picture. It was Ezra and Shola. That's the CEOs of Paystack. But in 2016, they were like, guys, we're just hosting. So I just went downstairs and, oh yeah, my boss, I should pick you guys. And I was on my tie, office guy, went up. I was nice and friendly to them because I didn't, but I know when they walked in through the office, people were like, who are these guys? Ezra was that we didn't understand. Then Shola was, but 5 years later, this guy sold a company for $200 million. Like all of us in that office, I don't think we netted half, right? So the goal is having first impression, right? I'm sure if Shola had also dressed like Ezra, maybe the conversation would have been different, right? But he knew he was coming to a setting where you're talking to bankers, right? So how they see you, right? It captures. I've been in a place where we spoke to Patricia's founder, Fejiro, I've forgotten his name. And the way he looked, my CEO was startled, right? Oh, who is this? And on the side, I was like, are you sure this guy? I had to tell him, boss, this guy is worth millions of dollars. We don't. But his first impression was, I'm not taking him serious, right? So I think it's knowing your audience and knowing your networking audiences is essential for me. Thanks.
Hey, all right. Thank you so much, Ernie. There were lots of gems from everything you said, starting off with the latest, which is know your audience, right? I think that's very important. As a marketing babe, that's that's everything to me. Know your audience, and from there, every other thing just clicks in place. When you know your audience, you know where to go find them, you know how to present yourself, you know what to say to them. Presenting yourself, Ernie has said, how, like, look good, look presentable, know your audience, know how to dress for them. And then yeah. So I think for me, when you mentioned something about the restroom, that struck me, because that's not something you can necessarily plan. Even though some people, you'd be surprised, some people are very strategic and they will get you, right? But it just brings to mind the fact that there are just some coincidences that will happen, and so it means that you have to be prepared. Cutting back to something Elizabeth said at the beginning, that networking is not a one-time thing. It's not, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to stop, I'll pick it up later. It's a constant state of mind, right? And you can meet anybody anywhere. So you also have to be constantly prepared. And I know how difficult that might seem, like, oh, I always have to be on the edge, or I always have to have something to say. But yes, if you don't have something to say, then why do you even bother to network, right? But we've also seen that it starts off from the little things, oh, the colors, the shoes, what they're putting on. As Feranmi has said, start off with questions or give compliments, and we'll take the conversation from there. So Elizabeth, do you want to quickly shortly talk about unofficial networking opportunities, like the wedding you attended?
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so unofficial networking opportunities. Well, I mean, in as much as it was a wedding, it looks very official, because when I was having those conversations with these people, I still had to like put on my official hat. But then again, about that, a number of persons actually like go for parties, go to clubs and stuff. And I had some people having this conversation. They said something around. So for the very first time, I attended this founders party, and I was shocked at the people that I saw that they were actually all this fintech, like all these top fintech founders. And I'm like, are you serious? So these guys actually come out for parties, right? But I am not a party person, right? So, and like that was the first and the last one I went for. But in places like that, when you see people like that, I'm just saying, sometimes you could just say, "Oh, don't worry, I'll pay for the drink." So it's more like when a guy goes somewhere.
I have something to say to that. So
No,
now,
no, no.
you're networking up, right? There's every
Yes,
possibility that what they're ordering, you might not be able to pay for it.
exactly. That's why. Yes, I was going to talk about that.
Okay.
Yes, when, so it's a big a thing of like when a guy goes out to the bar, he sees a girl he likes, she's buying her drinks. I mean, he would say, I'll pay for it. Then from there, the conversation kicks in, right? Now, for that part, when you see a drink, come on now, you should know a drink that you can actually afford, true or false. It's not that you will see a drink of 3.5 million and you're saying, I'll pay for that, I got that, or something. Or better still, most times, all these people, once they are seated, can even go there and say, can I sit? You can sit down there, pick up your phone, act like you are chatting somebody or you are calling somebody or something. Then the next thing you are saying, is that chicken nice? Because I would love to order for mine as well. Just act like as if you don't know him or something. Do you understand? Give them that whole free space. Then you can now start off a conversation like, oh, I love your watch. It is this is this. Also, I got to learn that if you really, really want to like have like meet those people there, you should have a fashion sense, kind of. You should be able to have a conversation around fashion. I mean, oh, this watch is Versace. This watch is Spec, Mark and Spence, or something. Oh, or Clarks. Your shoes are nice. These are Clark shoes. I love it. I used to do this with class. Do you understand? And there's something about storytelling. Trust me, storytelling goes a long way in networking, guys. See, there's a way you will cook a story. I'm not saying you should lie, right? But there's a way you tell a story. For instance, now let's say I went out and I saw Feranmi there. I'm like, oh, you're the guy that has the knee fries. I've never in my life bought it too. I'm like, oh my God, it's so nice. I had a birthday party and I got it for my friends. It's really, really, really good. And I think we can actually do something together. What can we do? I have a community for women and and I'll be having a physical hangout in Lagos for women. I think we can just partner to do something. Fair me, this is me seriously pitching to you. So don't think I'm just giving tips. Yes. So more like I think we can just do something, maybe a discount on sales at that day or something around that. Do you understand? Then that way we know that, oh yes. Okay. Talking we start. Why? Because Feranmi has seen that from me, he can get value for his business. And what is value for him? Value for businesses most times is revenue, is money. So if he gets that discount, I mean, that's purchase. People would buy and he would have access to more customers, right? So yes, exactly. So that's this for me, basically. So networking is actually very and also I was when when Annie was speaking, I was gonna say something. So growing up as a child, I used to be a very, very terrible stammerer. I still stutter currently, but whenever I want to go for programs, events, that was then I would consciously practice me talking to the person. So that once I see the person, because before when I see those people, the whole stammering thing would just come up and I'm like, oh my god, I can't. Right? There was even a day that I went to network with somebody. I started stuttering, but I did not walk away. I stood there until I was able to gather myself. Now, I'm saying this because I know that there are a number of persons in these shoes, right? I feel like you should actively even practice having conversations with your friends in the mirror, even if you have kids in front of them or your spouse, anybody at all, because it would actually help a great deal. And also, you should also like calm down. So there's something that I do before I speak, although I did not do it today. I drink water before I go upstage, before I do anything, before I say I'm going to speak, because it helps to really, really calm my nerves down. It helps me a lot. I drink at least a bottle of water, I'll finish it. Right. So if you are that kind of person that is shy or you stutter or you feel like, oh, I am not up to this person, drink water. See, water will give you courage. I'm not even capping. I'm not saying you should drink malt or milk. No, drink water. Drink water. Water would actually help a lot. And also, one of the reasons why I was able to network with people was because of the kind of friends I have. See, I have this friend, his name is Tope. In short, at that AK's wedding, I spoke to just about, let's say, like 5 founders. Tope literally carried me to everybody. Meet Susan. And I said, you should have friends like that. Right. When I went for, there was this event that we went for, a founders event. As he literally took me around to everybody and was introducing. That was how I started saying, okay, yes, I do this, I do that. Have friends like that. Have friends that would put you out there. Then it was from him too that I learned to also introduce my friends to opportunities like that. If you are doing something and I feel like, oh, I know a founder so that you guys can work together to make the thing better, I will tell you, meet this person via mail or WhatsApp or something. And trust me, if you are in that high place, if you are in that space where you have those top guys, I feel like it would make a lot of sense if we could even also start helping people, I mean our friends now. Let's do that to make the world a better place and networking a lot more easier. Thank you.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So let's talk a bit about the kind of value, right? I think that, especially at physical events, when you walk up to people and off the bat, you're already discussing career, business. I mean, I know that's why we're here, right? But Do you want to, you get? So I wanted to find out, are there any other examples of benefits that people can speak on in that moment that is not necessarily exactly about career or, whatever the opportunity is, that can keep that connection and build the relationship? Any? Or
Okay,
does
Annie,
anybody
me.
think this is
Okay,
open?
Annie should go first then, since you called his
Good.
name.
All right. I think that's why it's critical you know your audience. Because the thing is, most of everybody is first a human being, before they are whatever you think they are. Um, People have built networks by just being people who share the same football club. I think my first serious interview at a bank. How I got in, it was funny. I was talking to the guy, and this guy, the next thing he did was to say a line of my school song, my secondary school song. I kid you not. It was the most bizarre thing I ever heard. So he went through my resume and sang a line. I went to King's College. So this guy goes and sings a line, and I subconsciously responded. Right there and then, I just went to told my mom, kill that chicken. We're done. We've gotten this right. I think it's identifying. So if you know someone, and it's the intentionality. I'm going to an event where I know there are X amount. So yes, there are mistakes, right? There are errors, but it starts. See, networking does not start when you go to those events. No, networking starts when you identify those people, right? I know there is, like, you cannot be a product person in any of the top fintechs and I don't know you. Oh no, then that means I have to know you. It's my job to know you. Now, it doesn't mean we are networking, but I'm already doing my own internalized networking. That is critical. I don't have to wait till I go there. I identified a couple of top guys. I might not, my the name might not come to my head now, right? This guy at Apple, this the chief Johnny Ives. I subscribe on YouTube today. I think I'm the only person in my family who does that. I pay yes, YouTube Premium, because there are a lot of
Yeah.
things you can learn on YouTube. So I see people, I read history. So by the time I catch myself, and because like Elizabeth said, most of these things you don't know, you just find yourself in. So there are ones you plan, but I found myself in the bathroom with Kyle Toriola. We are both men, so we had to be in that bathroom, right? So I had to. The question I asked was, how will PSB? So it was fun of me. It's not as if I had written it down. So you have to embalm yourself. So like someone asked, there's nothing like inexperience. It's just being unaware. There are people who have done 10 years, 20 years. They don't know as much as we know. So it's not about the years of experience. It's the intentionality to be aware. So when you embalm yourself, I don't think they're inexperienced. I don't think they're unaware. I have a very young PM. What's the name? David Mayowa Joy. Sharp girl, right? Young babe, but very, very smart. She knows so much. She's not by experience. It's an intentional. So when you do that, you can then identify who I'm networking. And when you meet the person, you pick up features. What does the person like? We know Tony Elumelu is a gym guy. So if I see Tony Elumelu, I cannot ask Tony Elumelu, do you like Amala or Pounded Jam? No. The thing I ask is, Tony, I like the workout session you did in one of your YouTube. There is no way Tony will not react. You see Dangote
Because
and
it
like,
shows that there's some
yeah,
intention.
you see
Yeah.
Dangote and you tell Dangote, I like what you've done with the monopoly of the cement business, how you use pricing. See, Dangote would remove his glass and talk to you. That's the truth. So it's not, and those are things you don't learn. You don't go. So there are things you have to sit down. Nobody's going to teach you how to know people, right? So you're on a network, you have to earn the right to network, right? You know things about people. I see you look at someone's watch, like Elizabeth said, what are you drinking? Say something about it. I know you'd spoil them. Someone likes Man U, like, oh, I'm a Man U fan. Say something. I see Victor Asimeto, I know what he likes, right? When we talk about those things, we're already sinking, right? And I think those things are just identifying who your audience, internalizing the network before you get out there, right? Are just essential. Thanks.
Okay, I really, really love that. Internalized networking. For me, I would have said, oh, I will have separated into pre, during, and post, right? Because there's work that has to be done before the the active networking, which is what Ernie has said and referred to as internalized networking. So who are even these people that you want to network with? What do you need to network with them for? What's the breakdown? Where do they stay? Where do they eat? Where do they go to? And I'm not, most times you might not necessarily have the exact information for that individual, but you can tell that, okay, they fall under this category, and people in this category typically go to this place at XYZ time of the month, right? Secondly, you have to have taste. You can't know everything. I mean, Ernie was saying something about Man U, and I'm just like, if I ever found myself in that situation, I'm not sure what I'm going to say exactly about Man U, but I know that in recent times, Man U fans have been distressed, like they've been complaining, and it never used to be like that. I don't know so much about Man U, but I know that in the past, Arsenal was at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom, right? But now Man U fans are so even though I don't know details, because I've picked that up, residue of conversation on Twitter and whatnot, and it's been there somehow, I'm able to say something about it. Now, imagine when, you actually develop taste in, like Elizabeth said, wristwatches, operas. Again, know your audience, know what they might be into, and just read up on things like that. It could be one paragraph that you read up and just hold on to that, like, whenever this conversation ever comes up, you go back to it. And I wanted to bring up an example of this unexpected meet, right? But from somebody who's internalized the networking, as Annie has said. So a friend of mine, she was coming to Abuja to shoot. She's an actress. And on the plane, business class, she sat beside Ezekwesili, right? And for her, it was just like, oh my, this is an opportunity. Now, some people take business class, not necessarily because they can afford it, right? They take it because they know that the people they want to meet would stay in business class, not in economy. Something I have personally started to do is airport lounges. So instead of waiting in the common area, I actually go to airport, and they're pretty cheap. 3-5. I don't know what like the latest is, especially for local flights. Then there are the international airport lounges, right? Those are places the people you want to network with go to and act like you belong. Don't go there and look shifty. And I like Elizabeth said when she said, ask if you could sit with them. Like, it's audacity, it's guts, right? So yeah, she sat, Ezekwesili was beside her, and somehow the conversation started. And how she entered her was talking about the time when she ran for presidency, and she had to drop off the race and all of that. And the woman was looking at her like, she asked her a question. She's like, what do you do? She was like, oh, I'm an actress. And you know how what the connotation of, oh, you're a Nollywood actress, people don't necessarily take us seriously. And I say us because I have a background in acting, right? So coming from that profession, hearing someone speak so knowledgeably about politics, because she was like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm an actress. Okay, I would have sworn that you were somehow in politics, and I think you should consider going into politics. And then she asked her, what's one question you would like me to answer for you? Now, I'm sure at this point, some of us would have thought of one career-defining question or something about politics, or how do I do this? And my friend said, she told her that, how I want you to tell me or share or teach me how you were able to balance family, your family values, with the kind of work, of the kind of place where you work. That's a mind-blowing question that will get you a second look. Like, okay, so sometimes these things are not prepped for. We can't really calculate and control the outcome of things, but staying ready, knowing your audience. Is not everybody you want to network with anyway. Internalize your networking, find your audience, stalk them, know things about them, down to the mundane things. If they have a TikTok, go to their TikTok, because a lot of rich people, like, they need an escape outside of this, structured world. If they have a TikTok, go there, just find out the quirky things about them, and you can hook a conversation from there. Feranmi, I'm coming to you now, but I would like to make this quick announcement that we're going to have another activity soon after the discussion with Feranmi. Now, this activity is giving the participants an opportunity to, I would say, evaluate their pitches. So how we want to do it is, you have an opportunity to send me a pitch, an elevator pitch, privately to any one of the panelists, right? We'll only be doing 2 written pitches and 1 spoken pitch. So 2 people, first 2 people, you send your pitch to me privately. The panelists, I'll read them to the panelists, and the panelists that you're pitching to. And what we're going to do is, we're going to evaluate it. We're going to break it down, right? And basically to just see what works, what doesn't work. And it's fine, I'll keep you anonymous if you require me to keep you anonymous. But for the spoken pitch one, of course, that's not anonymous. So you would be required to come up and pitch to any one of the panelists. So just putting this out there, prepare your pitches, send them my way. And if you want to speak, please also let me know via the chat. All right, Feranmi. I asked Elizabeth a question earlier about business cards, that business cards are not effective anymore. And she said true. So while I will be going back to Elizabeth on that, I wanted to check in quickly with you. What are your thoughts about that? Do you agree with her? If you agree with her, what can be done? If you don't, why?
Okay, I'll just use an example. One time, someone was saying, yeah, I was in secondary school then. Someone like, oh, I have Pastor Adeboye's number. Someone said, does Pastor Adeboye have your own number? I'm like, oh yeah, true. You can collect as many, like, I don't have any issue with business cards. I mean, there are times where business cards are conversation starters. Like, you're talking to someone, you give them your card, and like, you see head of XYZ. Or they're like, oh, you're the head of this. You're the something that without even like talking much, it does that part. But to maintain the communication, like to build that relationship, it has to be two-way. You can collect that business card, call that number from now till eternity, and nothing happens. You can give them your business card, and they don't ever call you again. So, in my opinion, beyond it probably giving them more context of what you do, your role, and everything like that, and probably like, I do not think it is a sustainable way to actually build a relationship with anybody. If you are very interested with your conversation, one question I always ask before I leave anybody I'm interested in, either romantically, business or career wise, is how do we make this happen again? That's my question. That's the way I make sure I get the contacts, and I give them my own contact. I'm like, hey, I just sent you a message. I always make sure that I won't send that message. I just sent you a message, and like, or they respond like, oh, you have seen the message, that kind of thing. So I'm not still a very big fan of business cards, apart from the polishing that they give you in certain events. But for sustainable networking, no, I'm not a big fan.
Okay, so would you say that it should be abolished entirely, or it should, still be part of the networking tactics, but we should not rely on that alone?
Yeah, I'll go with the latter. Don't rely on it alone. It should still be there. It does its own work, like I said, polishing and all like that. But you shouldn't rely on it alone at all. Don't rely on it alone. And learn to ask that question: how do we make this happen again? If it will be easily, ask me that question. My own is, how do I get to talk to you again, ma? That's what I will ask her. How do I make sure I talk to you again? To be
Yeah,
honest, that's how I believe it should happen. So don't
yeah.
rely on it fully. Have it handy, but don't rely on it fully.
Okay, okay. All right. So Elizabeth, you're muted.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. So I mean, the reason why I said a business card is not important, was that the word for the
Is
question?
let me
Let me
cross.
just get it properly.
Going to events with business cards doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, the reason why I said it doesn't work anymore is because, so I mean, for me, I always like to use life experiences to talk about things, and I would use myself, right? Ever since I started working at InterSwitch, I don't even have a business card. I've never had a business card, but I've had conversations with people, and I know where those conversations have actually taken me to. And to be very honest, there are some, okay, for instance, now, if you have a business card or and you were, let's say you were a marketing executive at that point, and at some point you are now a marketing manager. But I mean, of course, updating a business card would take years in some companies because of processes in code, right? And you still like give that marketing executive card and say, okay, I work at so and so, but I am now a marketing manager. Come on. I mean, that's not what's there. I'm not saying that it cannot be changed. It can be changed, of course. Then one more thing, guys. I cannot count the number of business cards I've thrown away. I'm sorry. Once you just give it to me, I just take your number from it and I'm trashing it because there was a day that I was cleaning my house. And if you see the business cards I saw, like, they were close to 20. I was just collecting, okay, I'll text you. And I realized that most of the times I ended up not texting these people, not because I didn't want to text them, but because I have a lot of activities. So in my head, I'm like, if you cannot give me your mail or your contact or something, then I'll save it on my phone. Once I've saved it on my phone, I will know that I can never throw my phone away. So even if my phone gets missing, I have Google Drive, iCloud, right? And I can always save it there. So that's why I'm saying that having a card is actually not important. But that doesn't mean that I would still not get a business card. I definitely would get a business card because there are times when I go for events and I'm talking to people and they're like, can I get your business card? I'm like, oh, I don't have that yet. Now, about that, there's this thing now that people actually do where you can just scan a barcode, where somebody can scan a barcode from your phone. Come on, guys, we're tech people, for God's sake. What are we doing with paper? You can always just say, oh, I have a link, I have a barcode, can just do this, and you see my details there. It makes life easy. You're not spending money for printing or wasting resources, right? But I mean, it's still good to have that business card. Just like Ifemi says, it gives you that whole packaging thingy, right? But realistically, for instance, now, okay, if you go to the bar to take drinks with somebody and you see a tech founder, or if you are networking with somebody who is higher, are you going to give the person your card? Is that what you're saying? No, now you ask for his mail, true or false? Exactly. So I cannot see a Feranmi that's my boss, and I'll say, Feranmi, this is my card. Take my card and show call me. No, now Nami they find something from Feranmi, and so Nami go. Do you understand? Nami go tell him, say, guy, how far? Please, can I have your mail? I would love to send you a proposal on so and so. That makes a lot of sense. But I mean, of course, you can still have your cards, but I'm still gonna say that I don't think there's any business with newbies and business cards. You don't have any business with that actually. At that point, you are just kickstarting your career. So your goal should be to reach out and network with as many people as possible and to also have their contact. Mind you, try not to ask for people's numbers because most times numbers are private. I tell people if you ask me for my number, see, I don't have money. I've not blown yet. But guys, I barely reply chats on WhatsApp. I'm very terrible with WhatsApp. And guess what? I post on WhatsApp. So people see it as I'm proud. I don't want to, but I like, to be very honest, I'm not even doing these things on purpose. Once you text me, the chat goes down. So why don't you just send me a mail? Why don't you just send a mail or something? Do you understand? I would always go through my emails. I would definitely always read my mail. There's no way I would not. Every morning
Mails
after
over
exactly.
WhatsApp,
So
right?
and nowadays, said yes, I give out my work mails, but although there's some kind of mails that you would send to my work mail and it would bounce because of some kind of words. They say it as security threats, right? But I would always read that mail. Do you understand? That way, or if you text me on Slack, I would respond Slack or Twitter, then LinkedIn sometimes. But Instagram and WhatsApp, you're just on your own because before I'll reply, and I hope you don't get mad. So that's why I just said that having a card, except if you are high up there, like maybe a Tony, and I'm like, good afternoon, Tony. I am this is you just say, you know what, text me, take my card. And see, guys, I got to find out this whole number thing from my boss. The number on his card is not his number. That's not his real number. You will call it, it will be off forever from now to next. You're gonna keep trying.
In such a situation, what do we do, right? So this person is high up here. Don't have that time to even ask or tell you that, oh, my shoe is from, my watch is from. Okay, they've given you the business card. You know the number is a dummy. What do you do?
Okay, great. So let me use my boss. Hope I don't have my colleagues on the score. Okay, let me use my boss as an example, right? Interswitch, that's where he works. He's my boss. And you go for an event, he gives you your card, you're like, this number, I know they go. His mail is there. You send a mail, trust me, he might not even reply your mail. Because you see, all these top guys, they are just interested in conversations that would bring value. And when they say value, they mean how much is it in naira, how much is it in dollar. That's what they are mostly interested in, right? So he says it, and you know that, okay, this person works at so and so company. I'm going to share this very short story, right? This person works in so and so company. You know that, and you can have easier access with this person. Do you understand? Rather than the top person. So when I just resumed my job in September 2022, I mean, by virtue of my role, everything partnerships, as tech partnerships for developers basically and product guys, the one that like oversee things like that. Conversations around APIs, all those things, I oversee it. So if you want to like partner or want us to sponsor something that is tech related for developers or APIs, you should speak to me. So there was this guy, we've been friends though. We've been friends for years actually. We've been friends for years actually. And he reached out. He's like, hey, you work here now. This. I would love to do this. I would love to have this event, and I want to switch to come in as a sponsor. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. And I said, oh, this is actually doable. This is very possible, but you would have to do this, and you need to like hold on. I was barely 2 weeks in the job actually, and you're already like putting fire on my legs. And I said, oh, this is doable, but you have to hold on. Then I said, okay, one more thing, because I know that these people, we are open to partnership, but it is a business. So what is the business value? That is what every business person would tell you. And we're like, oh, okay, why not do this first of all? Then once you've done this, you call me and tell me you've done this. That was all I told him. He saw it as I didn't want to help him. He went ahead, he sent a mail to another business line telling them that he wants to do the same thing. Do you know what happened? So he sent it to somebody higher than me. But you know what happened? The person CC'd me in the mail and told him to talk to me. And I'm like, you see what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like sometimes we actually overlook people because they are our friends, right? So now, if somebody that has met my boss knows that, oh, Lizzie works in this company, but because they feel like, oh, she's not a chief, she's not in that level, or they just want it to be said that they did it without their friends' help. So I keep on saying that if I hear that my friend is working anywhere and I need value, I would meet my friend first before I would meet anybody else, because I want you, because I believe that as my friend, I trust you enough to tell me that this is because that's what I would do for my friend as well. So if the person goes there, try to reach out to other lower counterparts that you can have access to within that company, and I think that would actually help. Thank you.
Thank you
And I've spoken for too long.
Thank you so much. So many gems as usual. Do not overlook your peers. That's like the summary for me. Do not overlook your peers. Yes, we know we want to network vertically, but horizontal also matters. And sometimes, or most times, that can be the difference. That can make the difference to, your access. So don't overlook your peers, your friends. There's, like I said sometime earlier, that the middleman, right? Don't overlook the middleman. They will be the ones in the room with the person that you need something from constantly. They have their ears. They trust them, or they've trusted them over time. So they trust their judgments. So don't overlook the importance of such people. Those people, since we're speaking honestly, right? Those people you say, oh, the boy of this, the boy of that. See, the position they hold, the influence that they have in the sphere of that person is not a boy situation. So let's not look down on that. A very good example is when I wanted to get my space, when I moved to a new city, I found a place. It's some lawyer in politics in Anambra State, I think. Yeah, but he's one of the top guys in the government, whatnot. But I had to go through his manager, right? The person that some people would say, oh, that's his boy, right? Who does all the errands for him, who go to check the house. Till today, I pay my rent to the guy, not to the landlord. Right? When I had an issue with my house, it was the guy I called that helped me sort it out. So oftentimes we overlook people like that and say, oh, we're going to jump ranks and speak to whatnot. They do not influence. There's a thin line between power and influence. And most times people who have influence, well, not most times, sometimes people who have influence do not necessarily have those power positions, right? So you also have to be very discerning and strategic, right? Thank you so much to my panelists. It's been a great conversation so far. At this point, I would like for the pitches to come in. If you have questions, please put them in the chat box or put up your hands virtually so that you can come up to speak. I'm pretty sure that there are lots of questions, or there should be a lot of questions from everything that we've said so far. It might not be a question, it might just be a contribution, right? So yeah, let's have it. I'm also expecting the pitches, just 2, and I'll be taking the first 2. So please don't overthink it, guys, because I haven't received any pitch. I know that people are overthinking it. Do not overthink it. We're here to be as practical as possible. So yeah. Questions, and pitches. While we wait for that, there are a couple of things that I took notes of. Right. So we've said a lot about the pre-networking or pre-events, then during, when you meet them, what to say, how to enter them, what to offer as value, and what to even say to ensure that maybe there's a meetup afterwards. Elizabeth, you have your hand up.
Yes, I do, or I did. Yeah, so I was just going to say something while they're preparing their pitches. I was just going to say something around it makes sense that you in your pitch you have a little bit of storytelling, a little bit of like saying something, relating your personal self or an experience that you've had with what you're trying to pitch on. Right. So that's just what I wanted to say. It doesn't have to be also formal. I get that, yes, it's for a formal setting, but sometimes you can just add a little bit of spice, some Maggi and pepper, just to make it more more homely per se. Thank you.
Yes. So in the meantime, I was saying, and we're wrapping up pretty soon. I was saying that, we've said there's a lot of information that has been shared, and I wanted us to just drill down on post the event or post when that connection has been made. What do we do? So say you've met this person, Feranmi, as you said, in that Ezekwesili situation, you'd have asked, oh, how do I see you again? Right. But tangents, that question my friend asked actually got her a dinner invitation to our house. Right. But what would you say? So she said, oh, this is how we can, keep in touch or see again or talk again. How do we navigate from there? What are the ways that, or the different ways you can nurture, such relationships post making the connection?
Okay. Everyone has an ego that needs to be stroked. So my own way, for example, let me use Tony Elumelu, even though I hope to get invited to his White's party this year, hopefully. So I'm networking also for that one. So for example, Tony Elumelu is someone that enjoys making people happy. Like if Tony Elumelu, like I've been to like one or two parties, not the White party, but other parties. Like if things are happening, he enjoys the idea of he's making that thing happen. You need to find out, like, for example, what makes this person happy with respect to what they do. If, to the middle, for like Annie said, like James, once in a while, if you have that relationship already, not every time, oh, I have this problem in my career, like you're basing your career mentor. You always talk about career mentorship, career mentorship. For example, using myself, if I am mentoring you on something, and I like to cook, I will not mind you once in a while just talk to me about, oh, you just discovered this spice. Do I know about this particular? Like, I want to say that intentionally. Do I know about this spice? I'm like, I'll be in my element. I'll be so excited to talk about the spice, discuss it with you. Probably even like we can even like talk, share Instagram videos on that kind of thing because you've connected with that personal part on my own side. Now, this is not necessary, but it's a good way to make the person understand that you're not just coming to me to come and collect what you want. And it's career most important. Like I'm tired of career sometimes. I just want to relax and be myself. So find those soft spots, build conversations around that. Like I have a couple of friends that will just banter about food. We talk about careers also. Of course, we can banter about food. It is easy for us to also move into the career. Now, that's one part. Another part is you've probably started talking with them, you're working on something, and they've mentioned that thing in the past. You can just come to them to say, oh, you're working on X and you value their opinion on this. You would like them to give like quotes of like a final blessing, like you're putting them on that pedestal of like, for this final blessing, approach you. So, just two tips from me. The first I said is go beyond the stage of I want to always get from you. Find something that interests them, build a conversation around it. Not every time, of course, don't be pretentious about it. Just once in a while, just throw it at them and build that banter. Then, secondly, make it clear to them that you respect them, not that you idolize them. Two different things. Idolizing someone can make it very irritating. I can get very people can get very irritated when you're idolizing them. But make it clear that you respect them and get their opinions, real opinions, not random things like, oh, I saw this, what's your opinion? No, you're working on something. It's life changing and you need the opinion on that kind. You need the blessing. Like I said, so in summary, across and you hear me throughout, don't pretend. That pretense is very annoying and it's very, very irritating. I'll round up by saying, like, look at Ernie now when he was talking with the CEO of MTN. PSPs are something that Ernie is genuinely interested in, like he works with it. But if you do not know about PSP inside that conversation, I promise you, it will just be they will pee there. We won't be irritated. I'm about to pee, guy, get out of my road. That kind of why did you waste my time? So you have to be genuine in all of these things you're doing.
Right. Thank you so much, Feranmi. There are a couple of questions. Woo! We got our first pitch. Yes. Okay. Before the pitch, I'm going to take questions very quickly. And when I say quickly, I mean like chop. Okay. So the first one is, what is the hardest thing about networking? What is the hardest thing about networking?
I think it's a combination of a couple of things. It's your biological, psychological thing. I don't think there's anything hard. To me, I think the hardest ideal or concept about networking is the reason. Networking is not going to give you money. Networking is not a fast track way to, it's a catalyst. Networking is not going to land you that next job. So if you think I'm on this event because I want to learn how to network because I want to get my job tomorrow, it's not going to happen. The dividends of networking don't come today, tomorrow. So it's I think it's more of a realization. So my answer to King Felix is that's the hardest thing. Understand that you're not networking because you want to solve today's problem.
Right.
It's not going to happen. That's anybody that tells you come to Treford's networking conversation so that you get job next month. It's not. That's our message, right? So I think that's the hardest realization. It doesn't give immediate dividends. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Annie. I wanted to snap my fingers when you were speaking. Yes, network, the dividends is not tomorrow. There might be exceptions, but generally speaking, it's a long game, which is why internalizing your networking is very important. Do that homework. Start, peacocking, placing yourself in the environment and things like that. Like Feranmi has said, contribute to their conversations online, nothing too overt, nothing too in your face, right? And then one day that opportunity will come. If you're volunteering at events as well, a big thing that should be at the back of your mind is nurturing. You have to know how to nurture the conversation. All right. Thank you so much, Annie. There's a question. My question is about the pre-network stage. In fact, the pre-network stage. What do you suggest for people that don't have much of a social profile? How do we set our digital profiles in the best minimum viable way to still look credible? I think I would take this question. Nothing too much from me, but Ernie was saying one time or sometime in this conversation that it's not inexperience, it's the lack of awareness, right? So it might seem to you like, oh, I don't have, the social profile that might command, something or make you look credible. But the thing is, we all have something in our hands. And oftentimes than not, if with proper storytelling, you're able to finesse your way. With proper storytelling, you're able to, you're able to rework or package it. Yes, that's the word. You're able to package it in a very presentable way. So I don't believe that there's nothing or you don't have anything to make you look credible. I think that you just have to dig into yourself and also based off of what you know from your audience, and then invest in storytelling. So I see that all of my panelists have their hands up. You guys, I give you 1 minute each. I'm going to set my timer. That's so you know how serious I am. All right, Feranmi.
Oh, talking about this idea of building your social media profile, please let me even use speaking I beg. Try to have your personal life. Not that everywhere you go, your Instagram, this one coach, blah blah blah, Twitter. I mean, try to have a personal life. So it's not like you're trying to engineer every of your social media platforms. When I started on Twitter, I did not try to engineer anything. I was just being myself. If you want to know, you can pick maybe one social media platform, but try to enjoy life, because once you are very mechanical about everything that you do, people will see through you and they don't see beyond what you are. Like I have a friend who has a separate social media for her work, and she has one that is just, if you can do that, fine. But I don't know if you have the capacity to do all those things. So be careful not to make your entire life curated. You're not a content creator that everything I'm trying to like sort of do the good work. That's what I would say. Do the good work where you are. From time to time, throw it out there that I do this, I do that. As long as you are involved in conversations, you don't need to have 10,000 followers. You can be the most unserious person. If you're a babe and you want to put bad in your profile, that's fine. Once you are doing your work and you're doing everything well, to be honest, people will actually notice you. Because at the end of the day, what matters is behind closed doors, who is speaking about you, who is talking about you behind those closed doors. So please do not try to be, in quotes, a career robot in this social media thing, trying to build your profile.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. All right. On that, my alarm has gone off. All right, Elizabeth, your turn.
Okay, first of all, I'll say Feranmi, shots fired. Actually, I felt it. I felt it so much.
A bit, you know.
I felt it a lot
because my tweets are very random. Yeah, they range from career goals to. Let's not say that.
You see, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, everywhere, everything around me spits advocacy for women in tech, and that's something that I've been doing for years. And when people say nobody understands why, I'm doing that because I was looked down on and I was dead, and I'm like, okay, you dead me, so let's do this. Yeah. So back to the question. There's just one thing I have to tell you, just one thing, right? Nowadays, every company, I mean, every single organization doesn't want to employ somebody who doesn't even have an experience. Even if you just finished learning coding in the next, like 2 minutes ago, they want to see that you've at least worked on a life project. And that's where volunteering comes in. Yes, I get that people are telling you that, oh, tech has money, tech is this, tech is that. But guys, trust me, if you do not have anything to show for it, if you tell me that you've taken courses in community management and content creation, but you've not worked on any life projects, you've not built any community, come on, I'm not going to have a conversation with you. So that's what volunteering is, you volunteering your time for free most times. There are some organizations now that pay volunteers, but it is rare, right? And I know that there are some people that take advantage of volunteers as well, but trust me, sometimes just overlook certain things and just get what you want. My mom tells me something. She will say, if you want to get something from anybody, even a mad person, bring yourself low and learn. Once you are done, you can now act anyhow to the person. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Ernie, you had something to say to that
I mean, I think Feranmi has said a lot. Mine is more of an admonition to Joe. First is, I think, and this is to everyone here, you must know everybody. You must know people that matter in your industry. I don't think you should be a product manager or a developer and you don't even know top people in that industry. I think it's an assignment, right? Go and find out who are the top guys in your industry. Know what they do. Everybody has a social life these days, right? Everybody has a social life, so know what they do. Just check, research. If I type everybody's name on Google today, I would get something. There's ChatGPT. Then finally, and most importantly, it's a line. Learn to start your conversation shallow but end deep. It's okay to start shallow, but end that conversation deep. Once you do this, and you know all your conversation, and be a good person, right? Regardless of Twitter, LinkedIn, be yourself. There's no need. Today I can be insulting Thatcher on Twitter. The next time I'm talking about how Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, is being the best CEO I've ever seen. So I'm that kind of person. And I think it's in the spirit of liberty. Be yourself. Don't think it. See, if you don't love your work as much as passionate as you love other things outside work, I don't think you're ready. Right. So you have to get to the stage where you can be watching football and someone drops an idea about, for example, for me, it's politics. I can easily switch and I'll still be in that realm of passion. So get to that stage and everything will flow seamlessly. Thanks.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Ernie. Start shallow and deep. Okay, so let's quickly go into our pitch, and that's the only pitch that I will be taking for this session. It says, "Hi, Ore, my pitch. I am a recent graduate of Obafemi Awolowo University. Yay, great effect. And I'm currently working as a marketing associate in a fintech in Nigeria. Although I learned product design while starting my NYSC program this year, I am looking for opportunities to make the most of my service year and grow in my career. Please keep me anonymous. I'm not sure what else the pitch is to contain." Okay, so how we're going to do this, Elizabeth is ready to go off. How we're going to do this is we're going to go around and each one of you will let us know your thoughts about the pitch, what they can do better, what they did great, what they can do better, and any other pointers.
So, can you read the pitch again?
Absolutely. Yes, I will. Yeah. But please, because of time, let's keep it as concise and straight to the point as possible. All right. So I'm going to read it again. I am a recent graduate of OAU, and I'm currently working as a marketing associate in a fintech in Nigeria. Although I learned product design while starting my NYSC program this year. I am looking for opportunities to make the most of my service year and grow in my career. Who wants to go first? Elizabeth, you want to go first?
Yes, I want to go first because after this, I would have to drop off.
Right. Okay.
Yes,
so I'm let's go.
Okay, great. Yeah, I mean, this is good, but if I was up high there and you come and tell me this kind of a thing in my head, I'm like, okay, what value will you really bring to me? How about if you had said something like, "Hello, I am so and so person. I do this. I see that you have a product on so and so. How about if I come and do? I mean, you should have already like build that person's product and look for possible loopholes and say, oh, I did or I can do this for users to be able to have this. Right. That way, I'll be like, oh wow, that's good. I mean, I would be interested and I might even say, okay, you know what? Let's have this conversation more deeply. I mean, it is good, but that was just you telling me more like your problems in quotes or you kind of begging or asking me to help you or something. That's what I think. I might be wrong, please, but that's what I think. And also in every pitch that you dish out to anybody, except if you don't want a long-term thing, try your possible best to ensure that there is value indirectly in your pitch. You are providing a solution to a problem that you've seen that their product or company has. Thank you very much, everyone. I would have to drop off now, please. I'm so sorry, but I just have to go now. Bye,
Thank you
everyone.
so much. Please let's clap. Let's give a virtual clap for Elizabeth. Thank
Everyone.
you. Yes, thank you so much. It's been a good time. Yeah, so Elizabeth mentioned that there has to be value. And reading this pitch again, I necessarily don't see the value that the person is offering the recipients of this pitch. It's more of, I am this, I did this, how can I do that, right? And from everything we said here today, we know that we have to put our best foot forward, and that is by showcasing the value you can deliver to the person. Yes, Ernie.
Okay, real quick. First, I have a different opinion, and I think everything has a reason, So I think for networking in my head, there are two reasons. You're either trying to just familiarize yourself, just be an acquaintance. I don't want anything. I just want you to know me, right? The first time I ever saw Feranmi, I mean, we were colleagues and we spoke, like we've been working for a year, and I met him, I think, like twice, basically. It's to familiarize yourself. Then there's another reason to get something, which is a favor. So I think this page falls under the first category, right? I think the young person, lady or man, is just trying to say, hey, this is what I am. And I think for a young graduate, if I was the person being talked to, I think I would understand and empathize, to be honest, right? I don't expect her to have that finesse in introduction. Let's tell ourselves the truth, right? I mean, I left ABUs of like what 11 years ago, and trust me, 11 years ago, I don't think I could speak. In short, what I didn't learn how to use PowerPoint until I go into Access Bank. You know, in Zaria, our ways were still back then. So the truth is, I think for a young graduate, I think it's a fair, I mean, familiarization pitch. It's good, but it can be better. So that's my admonition to you, right? So you can just add like what Liz and Oreo said, right? Add that. And again, I also don't see the need to add what you want because you're a young graduate. I mean, you've learned product design, but I know you've not done anything. So the best I can give is an internship. So, and I think an internship pitch would not have an ask. You can't tell me, hey, this is the value. I know you, no offense, I know you don't have any professional value at the moment. All I need are just, so there are soft skills, right? Things like you can communicate properly, you can talk, you're confident, you can learn. I'm not going to expect to come and tell me I have designed X and X prototype. No, you've not. And I think it's okay, to be fair, right? So
Yeah.
I'll give the young lady 6 or 7 over 10 for that. It's a good introduction. You've told me what you just graduated and the out of graduation skill you got. You've learned product design by yourself on Figma, on Adobe. And I think it's a fair one. That's my own
Yeah.
opinion.
Okay, all right. I like that we're having, varying perspectives on this. And the beauty of that for me as the moderator is that everything is still linked in some way, right? We've established that no matter how inexperienced you are, there's something that you can offer in some way. So it necessarily doesn't have to be a big, product design project. It could be a case study that you worked on right out of NYC, right? So yes, just know your audience, dig deep, and offer value. Fermi, I posted the page in the chat, so if we want to refer to it, it'll be easy.
Yeah, this is good. Like Ernie said, to be honest, I don't expect much to it. Like not for any reason, because based on experience. But I'll use my own experience when I was still, well, I won't say I was still a student because I had done school before then. And when I reached out to Cowrie Wise, basically I was telling them that I know that you're currently targeting students, and I can help you build a student ambassadorship program to get X number of students. Because I've done this with Alert in the past, like I showed history and proof that I've done this with Alert in the past. And it was a simple, was this short also. So, but I assume that this is a general pitch, which makes sense. Like you're not basically targeting any company. But the first step is you have to always target a company most times with this. Like you look for someone, what they're doing there. Then the second thing is start easy. I like the fact that I said grow in your career. So basically you can start with an internship position. If I was to rewrite this speech, which I would give a 7 out of 10, because clearly you're showing that you did not, for you to have just finished school, started at NYC, you're already
Yeah.
marketing at tech, and you're taking up product design. That's solid. That's very clear. Now, if I was to write this speech, what I'm just going to say is you are currently working on marketing at a fintech. I don't know what the fintech is, but you have a good level of product design and you understand how to take products to market and drive product market. You want to see how you can use product design to better take products to market for product market fit. Because one thing is, no offense to any designer on this call, designers will design something and say,
Let's
oh
not
yeah,
start
go and
small.
market this. You will not go to the market and start marketing it, try to force what does not exist. So you can come from that perspective that you're looking at how to use your knowledge of product design to work with design team to better market products. Like, because you have a product design knowledge, of course, you understand how you can do user research before a product goes to market, help the design team get proper market research for their products, and do a lot of things around that. So the value I think you should be pushing to anyone is that you're looking to enter at a role that sits in between product design and go-to-market partnerships. So that is where I see, that's how I see that you should frame it at this point in time. There's absolutely nothing wrong with how you framed currently. But remember, you're marketing yourself. And the truth is, marketing is about showing people how you're going to make their lives better, not showing them how you want to collect their money. That's why I'm saying come from that perspective and market yourself that way. So thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Feranmi. Thank you to everyone who's been here since the beginning of this session, and to everybody who also joined midway at whatever point. I just want to say thank you so much for coming. We were here because of you. I'm glad we had a very decent turnout. At this point, we'll be bringing the session to a close.